Drag king Mike Oxready has been performing since 2009. That's 15 years. And is a good friend of mine and the show. Let's watch some of his work.
Look, I put on a little outfit. Well, actually, I've got my pajamas on the bottom. I'm camera ready from here up.
I ain't no girl by the pack. There's no one I want better but you. In my little big shack. In my big shack. Baby, we'll be alone. In my big shack. I'll make you feel at home.
Hey, we're done with no homo. Everyone can have a little bit of homo as a treat.
So we've got some new folks joining us from the other room. Welcome to the Lip Sync Lounge. I'm Mike Oxready, your host. We have one more performer before intermission. One more performer and then it's intermission.
Rough, and I start to panic, not enough. It's just a habit, it can just.
You never used to drink during the day. Never used to drink at all. It's just a little habit I picked up from men.
Mike Oxready, come on in.
Hi, Amber. Nice to see you.
Nice seeing you. It seems like we were just together a few weeks ago at Higher Ground for the 29th annual Winter is a Drag Ball.
I know, and what a fantastic time it was.
It really, really was. We'll talk about that more later on. All right, I said you've been doing drag king work since 2009. What prompted you to start performing?
Well, actually, at Winter's a Drag Ball the year before, I saw drag king troupe King's Local 802, and I was just in awe. I didn't know that drag kings existed until then, and that really, sparked my curiosity. There was a local competition at the time. It was a one-off. It was called Drag Nomenon, and so I auditioned and got into the show, and then I ended up winning, and then co-founded a drag king troupe, New Cocks on the Block.
So you said, hey, if they can do it, so can I.
Yeah, the more the merrier.
Now, had you done any other performance type before then?
A little bit in high school, little, theater, little light theater work, but nothing, post high school, really.
Now, how did you come up with the name Mike Oxready? What prompted you for that?
Well, I guess I should say that my first drag king name was Billy Rubin because I was taking biochemistry of human disease at the time. And Billy Rubin is a breakdown product, but it was too niche. It was too, not many people got it. So I scrapped that and I just, I put my thinking cap on and I really wanted, something clever, a double entendre. From poking around on the internet, I knew that there were other kings around the world like Mike Hunt. And so I thought, well, I don't want to do something someone else has done. Why don't I do Mike Oxready? And let me tell you, Amber, the number of people who have known my drag persona for years and years and who didn't get the joke for a long time, it still cracks me up.
Okay, if Mike Oxready was going on Tinder or a dating app, what would be how would you describe yourself?
Yeah, this is an interesting one. I think, Mike is a gentleman. He's very caring for, his performers backstage, has been known to, assist burlesque performers and drag queens, getting into costumes. Mike is also very sultry and sexy, but also, brings the healthy masculinity of the dad jokes and, just you feel safe around him. He's been known to walk drag queens home, or not home, but to their car. If, for instance, we're in an area of the state that maybe not as, friendly towards LGBTQIA folks. Yeah. But I don't think Mike would be on a dating app.
Because he would already have his person?
Oh, for sure.
or multiple ones?
Oh, no.
No.
Old school, that Mike.
He's a one-woman man.
That's right.
How do you choose your material, the songs you're going to perform?
I think mostly it's whatever songs are speaking to me in that moment. I've done, quite a few political acts, and so I try to blend in material that really tells a story. And then sometimes it's just songs that I can dance to and like really have fun with, because as you know, the more energy you give the audience, the more they give back to you. And it's that, that positive reinforcement cycle. Oh, and that.
I know that too well. You really go out for your costumes as well. Tell me about how you create your costumes and how much work goes into them.
Yeah, I really love stoning. As you can see, I've got my bling. One of the TikToks had, the full mic of this shirt. But yeah, I love adding rhinestones to my pieces, and my partner says, "Okay, Mike, I think that's enough." And I say, "Oh no, under the stage light, I definitely need more." So I guess my theory with rhinestoning is more is more.
How do you apply them?
I use, an adhesive, so like gem tack, and just with the wax pencil and by hand, just, doing a design or, writing out letters, and, it takes a long time, but it's very, I don't know, meditative and
therapeutic.
Yeah, definitely therapeutic. I can do it while watching TV. My cats do try to help, and that doesn't go so well.
Tell me about some of your more elaborate costumes.
Well, I've got a coat that has my last name spelled out in rhinestones. That's not all the rhinestones, of course, but, that was very time consuming. This was a little less time consuming because it's just, 4 letters. But really, any of the costumes that have rhinestones that are intended to spell something out, as opposed to just, providing that bling on stage.
There are many types of drag queens. There's the glamour queens. There's the clown queens. There's all different kinds. Is there a degree of drag kings?
I hadn't thought about it. I think with all drag, it's so open to interpretation, and folks just get to play around with the construct of gender, and there are definitely kings that like to strip down to their skivvies, and I used to do that in my heyday, and now I don't do quite as much stripping. I think every drag king has a vast repertoire of what you might see from them. It's not, you're not going to put them in a box per se.
A couple of weeks ago, we had drag king legend Moby Dick. Who are some of your drag king influences?
Ooh, that's a good question. Well, of course, gotta give props to Kings Local 802,
Yes.
All of the founding kings. Landon Sider is a phenomenal, not just drag king, but performer. I don't know if you've seen his makeup, but it is out of this world. That's the first non-local performer that comes to mind.
When you go visiting others or traveling, do you go to drag king shows?
I try to. In fact, I was all ready to go to a drag king show in Sydney, Australia, where I was there for work. And unfortunately, at the last minute, it behooved me to go to the fancy dinner that I was invited to. And so my partner got to go to a drag king show, and I did not. But that was actually the first time that travel aligned with there being a drag king show, like while we were there. So I was bummed to miss that. But we look for, drag king shows whenever we travel. And, it's not super frequent that, cities would have a large drag king contingent, but it's getting, I'd say, easier to find drag king shows, just maybe not when I'm traveling.
Why do you think that is, that drag queens are everywhere. And yes, I think the drag king presence is growing. What does it need? What do you need to go to that next level?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. It is definitely growing, and drag queens have been made more mainstream, in the past decade or so. But kings are getting their due. It's taken some time. I don't know. Abolishing the patriarchy, maybe that would help. I'm not really sure how to do it. But I'm very grateful to local producers here who recognize the need for diversity in casts and book drag kings, and definitely so thankful to you for bringing drag kings to Winter is a Drag Ball. And yeah, I don't have an easy answer for that question, I guess.
All right. Well, we have more to talk about. More of Winter is a Drag Ball, the passing of the torch, and also some other questions I have to you about drag kings right after this break.
Sounds good.
All right, we're back with Mike Oxready talking about drag kings. Now, you've been performing around the Vermont area and New England. Now, in the past couple of years, there's been a lot of negativity towards drag performers. Have you seen any of that in your performances?
Amber, I had, since 4 years ago when the world shut down, I haven't been as active as some of my, I would say, extroverted counterparts. Because I don't know if you know this, but I am actually an introvert. So I like to say I'm an extroverted introvert. Like I can, make it work, but it's draining. So I know secondhand, of course, from the threats and the negativity, and the the times that I've hosted shows. I definitely make sure to thank the audience for coming out and supporting local drag and or burlesque if burlesque performers are a part of the show, and also giving acknowledgement to the fact that we have a lot of rights in Vermont that folks in other states don't. Drag is under attack, trans lives are under attack, but we have those protections here in Vermont, and we're very lucky. So I make sure every time I'm on the microphone to point that out and to really, thank the audience for supporting us.
All right. A couple of weeks ago was the 29th annual Winter's a Drag Ball, the 22nd one that the House of LeMay had produced and hosted. And I said, okay, that's it. I'm done. I've loved every year of it, but I thought it needs new blood. It needs a new outlook. And so I couldn't think of anybody else I would rather pass the torch on to than you. And I'm so happy that you accepted it. So, it's a big event, up to 1,000 people attend. You got 2 rooms of entertainment going on from 8 o'clock till 2 o'clock. What are your thoughts? What are you thinking about?
Yeah, well, first of all, again, I am so honored and grateful to you for offering me the torch. And of course, I graciously accepted, because what an honor. And like we discussed, this is such an amazing event for the community, and to see it squashed out, we can't have that. We have to keep it going. You know how dark it gets in Vermont in the winter. Like, we need something to look forward to. So thoughts that I've had, because you're right, there's not another event at Higher Ground that has both rooms having, simultaneous entertainment. Like, that's a huge feat. So, in the coming months, I'm going to start building my team. I am hoping to have some community outreach, both in person and virtual, to hear from the community, to see, what would you like to see at Winter is a Drag Ball? So it can be, a conversation, and so that, I can put together a show that's going to really, have that draw.
Yeah, I always liked it, because if someone wanted to perform, I always found a place for them to perform. I figured they've got the the nerve to get up there on stage, I'm going to find a place for them. And that's also why the costume parade is so much fun, to allow people
it
to do
sure
that.
is.
So it's a great opportunity to just for people to see their friends on stage and to support a good cause. So I'm really happy about that. So you've done smaller shows. How do you put together a show? What do you think about when you're putting together a show?
Yeah, so I, depending on what level of production needs, if I've got a venue already sorted, so, higher ground, not changing the venue, what a great venue. Whether or not higher ground moves, I guess that's to be determined.
Yes.
But really, lining up the talent, the performers, the Drag King night at the Telegraph Club that I produced in St. Johnsbury. I brought in a performer from Canada. He and I had performed on a stage we had determined 13 years prior, but it felt like just the other year,
Oh, yeah.
And so, I was really glad to be reconnected with that performer. Lining up the talent, making sure, if there are sound needs, light needs. And for the shows that I've produced, I tend to also be the host, and I also tend to perform, which is a lot of hats with a lot of rhinestones. So I like to say that I like to run a tight ship with my shows. I've got my clipboard, and you probably saw me walking around in the small room.
Yes.
And I've got I love a spreadsheet. And so, I've estimated, based on my empirical evidence of how long usually I speak in between performers, how much the transition time is going to be. And then, I think I was off by, just a couple of minutes this year. So I'm really getting it dialed in.
It's fun because I do the same thing over in the large room, and we were all of a sudden we were 5 minutes ahead. I go, how did that happen? I mean, I was happy, but I thought I had planned better.
Plan
than
for
that.
this? Stall.
Yeah, no. Well, it's very exciting. It's a great challenge for you, and I know you're going to do a great job. So thank you very much for talking to us tonight, and I wish nothing but the best to you. Thank you, Mike Oxready.
Thank you so much, Amber. It was so great to see you again, and I hope to see you soon.
Yes.